Welcome back. If you're new, welcome. I'm AM Reaper, and this is DMT Journey of the Infant Mind. A bit of a recap. In the last video, we discussed what DMT is and where it's found. So this time I'm going to try, instead of writing heaps of stuff down and trying to sort of recite things, I'm just going to go off the pictures I've got here and see how we go. Right. Oops. Rightio. DMT. There you can see a bit of DMT powder. DMT in nature, we remember, found in lots of trees, plants, animals, especially plants in the Fabaceae family of trees, a lot of wattle trees and stuff like that. It's an organic compound, has an indole ring, tryptamine structure. It's very, very similar to the brain's neurotransmitter, serotonin. If you look at the structures, they're very, very, very similar. They're nearly identical. You know, good for going through the blood-brain barrier and all that sort of stuff. We'll touch on that another time. In humans, I could picture Graham Hancock, those animals. In humans, DMT is an amino acid that's synthesized from tryptophan. Tryptophan is a chemical you find in fruit, vegetables. So it's a high in oranges and bananas, actually. That's why I've got a picture of that there. It's hypothesized, there it is, there's the pathway from tryptophan. TRP, there's tryptophan. It shows you there from serotonin to DMT. And it's hypothesized to be this biosynthesis process to be done in the pineal gland. So, Dr. Rick Strassman, the same guy who wrote The Spirit Molecule, he, as I said, he's got the Cottonwood Research Foundation in New Mexico. He's actually proved that in live rats, DMT is actually found inside the pineal gland. And as I said, the reason they haven't done it on humans, well, in the last few centuries, is because it's too dangerous, and you're going to stick a great big needle right in the middle of your skull, right down to your brainstem. So you're not going to be too healthy after that happens, are you? So, and if you're dead, you can't really test to see what the live levels are, can you? So, it really work. It's probably DMT. It's one of those things that it's very, very hard to bring back evidence of your work, so to speak. But finding the rats, the DMT in the pineal gland of rats was a great big tick for DMT. Now, there we go, see a DMT molecule, C12H16N2. Okay. DMT is the most potent hallucinogenic hallucinogen known to man. It affects the 5-HT2A and C receptors very, very well. As in, it's an agonist of both, so it rattles the shit out of them, basically. And they're the two main receptors in the brain that are set up for the psychedelic experience, i.e. the closed eye visuals. There we go, the receptor firing away, woo! And in the human body, DMT in the human body, the pineal gland, yeah, it secretes. It's the pineal gland and DMT are hormone based, and they are for controlling what they call REM sleep, which is rapid eye movement sleep. We went across the rapid eye movement sleep, the wobbling of the eyes, visions that you have, the eyes wobbling, creating light photons shooting down into your cerebral cortex, into your visual cortex there, and for creating visions that you see. As I said, I agree with that to a certain degree or dosage of DMT, and then I do not agree with it. But that's how they say these marvellous visions are created. And DMT is also present in the human body and has been registered in the lungs, blood, urine, in cases of high trauma or near-death experiences. So here we go. The version of this episode is to actually have a look at the pineal gland. What the bloody hell is it? And what's the myth behind it? A little bit. But DMT, I'll go back to DMT for a second. DMT is highly illegal. You get caught the stuff, you're going to get locked up. So make sure you check the laws in your country before you go run down trying to find some of this stuff. I don't advise it. You will end up in a lot of trouble. How did I get so much experience with it? When I was a young fella around silly places. You know, hippie sort of stuff and things like that. Anyway, enough about that. We're not here to talk about sources and things like that. Right, so what's the go with this pineal gland? Ah, yeah, that's right. That's as I said, I'm a little bit over the place. I'm trying to prompt myself with pictures here, because it saves a lot of time trying to write these videos down. It gets a bit out of control. Buddha. In Buddhism, they say in the fetus doesn't choose sex until 49 days of the gestation period, right? And they reckon the soul enters through the pineal gland into the fetus. Now, the funny thing about that is, in Western medicine, on the 49 days when the fetus chooses sex, as they know, is when the first flood of DMT is present in the body, and it's at very high quantities at that time, which is just rather interesting. I think it's a little bit coincidental there, but I'm not a doctor, so there we go. So there's the baby coming through the pineal, woo, and I just call a little picture. So that, yeah, Buddha believes in the 49 days of the gestation period, and the fetus chooses sex. In Western medicine, at that period of time when the baby chooses sex, dimethyltryptamine is highly present in the body. No other time other than upon death. Strange that. Okay, so let's have a look at this pineal gland, right? Let's have a crack. There's a pineal gland pulled out of the head. The actual pineal gland is the red stuff. The actual white stuff is the calcification. They say the calcification is done by fluoride. And we're not going to get into all this conspiracy stuff, but fluoride is a very dangerous chemical, burn old in concrete if you've got concentrated fluoride. And that's what it does to your pineal gland. So, who knew about this pineal gland and what the hell's going on here? As you can see in this picture here, you've got the eye of Horus. So, and as you see the cutaway section over there, that's actually a section of the brain. And that's what it's inside your brain looks like. So you see how the ancient Egyptians, they knew all about this. A lot of the ancient cultures did. There you can see the pineal gland. Just on the end of that yellow bit, if you read down the pituitary gland, pineal gland, brainstem. So as I said, the pineal gland's found right down in the middle of your brainstem. It's right in the middle of your brain. You can't really get to it. Very well protected. And here you are. Now the funny thing is the pineal gland produces melatonin, serotonin-derived hormone, and it's a hormone module, I should say. It modulates sleep patterns in both circadian and seasonal cycles. So, the shape of the gland resembles a pine cone from which it's derived its name. So the way the pineal gland got its name was because of the shape of it. A few more developed vertebrates lost pineal glands over the course of their evolution. What that means is there's other species with pineal glands, and I've actually seen a cutaway section of one type of reptile that still had a third eye in its head, and you actually could see the eye. It was crazy. It was even worse than that last picture there with the brain cutaway. It was even more of an eye. So it was rather interesting. But here, here you can see starting from the left up the top here, we've got Vatican City, and they've got the pine cone there. Yeah, there's the pine cone. Fractals are a recurring image that just keeps repeating itself over the top of itself. There's Angkor Wat Temple at their Indonesia type way. Yeah, we see the pine cones on the top there. That's the largest temple on earth, actually. Massive. It's a wicked place to look at. I actually had a mate who visited there and took some awesome photos, and they're really, really interesting to have a look at. There's the staff of the Pope. He's got a pine cone on it. There's a few of these other things here, the pine cones. Just really interesting. There's an ancient Egyptian scepter with a pine cone on it. I don't think I've got Hitler's one here somewhere. These guys here, this is called Bohemian Grove. It's a place in America, and what it is supposedly they have these big rituals, these huge big rituals. Anyway, long story short, I can tell you all about Bohemian Grove. You're gonna go look it up yourself. It's all this conspiracy shit, but there were ceremonies where what they did was they actually got live people and they sacrificed them, and as they sacrificed them, they cut the pineal glands out of live people and ate them because they thought it gave them knowledge. And this still goes on today. I don't know about the sacrifice. I watched a video where they showed a sacrifice. I think it was all staged for these purposes, but it's all got to do with the presidents and things like that. Like all the high dignitaries getting invited out to this place. It was in California, big ranch type of thing, the bushes, and all the old presidents are there. And there's Arabs and there's all sorts of people. It's a big bullshit congregation of all sorts of powerful people in the world, and they do this, and that's what they worship. These guys that are pumping the Bible out to you, that's what they're doing. So you probably want to have a look at that. It's called Bohemian Grove. I'm not here to talk all about that, but the point I did mention is because they used to have sacrifices and they used to eat pineal glands out of live people, usually babies and kids. Took a bit to find that sort of stuff, but yeah, anyway. There's Angkor Wat Temple. You see from a distance, you can see the pine cones on the top there. I don't know if you can see the mouse that I'm moving there. I hope you can, but I don't think you can. I'm not sure. You see the pine cones. Get rid of the mouse for the moment. There's Hitler's staff. You see the bird in the middle. See the circle on it. That's the chest of the bird is a pine cone. So that just means Hitler knew about it. Hitler's a pretty spun out dude, old Hitler. I know he did a lot of bad things. I'm not here to say Hitler was good or anything like that. But it's interesting to read when you see Admiral Baird and see how he supposedly found the centre of the earth, and then it's interesting to see what Hitler did in World War II with his U-boats, and he went down and he was actually looking. So Hitler's a bit of a spun out dude, that was my point. And here you see ancient Egyptian culture. And there you see, oh, that's like the what are they called? The Freemasons type of thing. So when you know the eyes on the American dollar bill, for crying out loud, there's the eye Horus, there's the pine cone. You know, all this facilitates the pineal gland. So all these civilizations and all these different people, they knew about it. It's not just a higgity-piggity made-up bullshit. It's just very hard to prove medically. There's your pine cone reference. There's your third eye with your Mayans, your Aztecs, the Chavin, the Olmecs. So they all knew about it too. Then you just flicking through here. There's a heap of other cultures there. That's mainly Egyptian and ancient Egyptian through different times of pharaohs. So therefore you can see, it says the Aten stands for the awakened third eye that sees the soul within, or soul or sun, really the higher self or the divine spark within it. The Aten symbol of both the third eye and the soul that I see. Here we go, more pictures here, Egyptians, pre-Incas. Yeah, lots of trippy art you'll find on there. Whether you awaken your eyes closed, but you can still see basically. And that's the whole point of all the meditation chakras. If you know anything about chakras and Hindus meditation, that type of thing, you'll see that the crown chakra is the pineal. So that's how you fly up. You got your third eye chakra, which is your pineal, and the crown chakra is off you go. So basically, with these, you grow up all your life, you meditate as much as you can, become one with yourself, fix all your chakras, line them all up, and poof, off you go into dreamland. You're experienced enough to navigate the path in these places. So the story goes. But I have seen, and there we have Hindu marking the pineal gland on the outside of the red dot. And Strassman, this is interesting to see if you can see this. I'm struggling to see this here, but it's pretty cool. When our individual life force, our fetal body, the most passes through the pineal, triggers the primordial blood of DMT. Later at birth, the pineal releases more DMT. As we die, the life force through the pineal, releasing another flood of this psychedelic spirit molecule. So basically saying what you say, when you're born, your soul comes in your pineal gland, as the theory goes. There's a few big rush of DMT. When you die, the same thing happens in reverse. That's why he studied near-death experiences and DMT, and a lot of the outcomes or trips they had were very similar to a lot of things that people have said on NDEs. But yeah, that's debatable. It's not debatable. It's like DMT is very to the self. Like you watch these things and you think to see. Anyway, we'll talk about that at a later date. Right, yeah. Here we are. We have the pictures in the ancient of the third eye. You can see the pineal gland in the centre of the head there, connected to the two eyes, giving you third vision. There you are. We're connecting you to the divine. That's how you're doing it, through your pineal gland. Okay. Pineal gland is the seat of the soul, as they believe. The Schumann resonance. Frequency, the pineal gland activation, and isochronic meditation. Rightio. Let's have a crack at this. And digital drugs. Now, this is interesting. I sort of got onto the stage of meditation years and years ago and tried it and this and that, and I love meditation. I reckon it's great. And I don't mean you don't have to sit there and hum and boom and talk and all that sort of stuff. I mean, not talk, but you don't have to sit there and make all these stupid noises and all this sort of stuff. And they're not stupid noises, but sorry, I shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't make all these noises. You don't have to and all that sort of stuff. And we'll discuss that in the next one or two videos just before we're ready to start preparing ourselves for DMT. But here with digital drugs, right, I started looking at meditation and I found digital drugs. And I thought, what? So, digital drugs are causing death. That's what I was reading. I was like, what? What are digital drugs? What's going on here? How can people be dying from digital drugs? What are they? So I looked, and digital drugs, they resonate a frequency, right? So what they do is they give, for instance, give somebody LSD and monitor their brain waves on different chemicals and different states of the whole human experience. Doesn't matter if it's done with drugs or being hot excited or going to sleep or different levels of awakeness or sleepness, so to speak. You know, theta, alpha, beta, the different brain waves. We'll cover that another time. But what was happening basically is you take LSD, they measure your brain, it says, oh, geez, you're normally running at this frequency, now your brain's tuned to this. Oh, what? I tuned, just bear with me. So what they do is they replicate that frequency created by the drug and the brain scan and put it on a gig stick or CD back when they first started doing it. And these people would go to a house or somewhere in, you know, mainly, a lot of them are in England actually. They go to a house and stuff. And these people out all self-fluoros and they'd run in the door and they'd chuck their CDs on and they'd listen to this music for at least 17 minutes because that's how long it takes to change your brain waves. 17 minutes, that's what they usually say. And I've tried it millions of times, and yes, they're about right. So they listen to this music and pumping in their brains. The brainwave changes. People were dying. It was that. So I thought this stuff's changing people's brainwaves that much and having that much effect on their body. They're actually dying, like, you know, having fucking hemorrhages and all this sorts of stuff, and aneurysms and things, heart attacks. So, you know, here we are forcing in the music, forcing in the frequency into the brain, changes the brain, stuffs all the body up, and everything goes but wang-o. Now we're going to talk about the Schumann resonance, right? So digital drugs were killing people through frequency. So if you don't think that meditation works and you can change your brain wave with either music or meditation, you're wrong. You can, and it can be not dangerous, but that just goes to show that how much you can change it from being lovely and normal to actually killing yourself. And you're not going to kill yourself with meditation. But anyway, on to the next thing. Schumann resonance. The Schumann resonance is the resonance of the Earth between the ionosphere and the Earth. And what it does when the world spins, creates this frequency, an electronic noise. And that noise is the Schumann resonance. How the Earth is spinning. Now, the Schumann resonance of the Earth, here we go, 7.83 hertz Schumann resonance. Binaural beat. So the Earth's alive, making a noise basically. You can tune into that beat. That's what it's all about, type of thing, to meditate, and that's how they sort of at first tried to achieve and connect with the Earth. They tried to lower the brain frequency or raise, whichever, depending on high, low, whatever, to the frequency of the Earth. Binaural beats, what they are is if you listen to headphones, they chuck these beats on music, and the music is isotonic beats which you can listen to with a stereo just in free air in a room, or binaural, you have to listen to them through headphones. Okay, and then they change your psyche, and they do. Okay. Here we are. This picture of a frequency going into your ear, a radio wave. And what they do is they end up vibrating every cell in your body. So every cell in your body vibrates. That's actually a blood cell vibrating. So you can see how much the change of resonance frequency can have on the whole body. Like your body runs on protons, electrons, neutrons, cells, and these have got charge. So you got a spark, and all this spark can resonate. It's electricity. So and that's why the Buddhas meditate, because what it does, the idea is is to get your body to vibrate the cells, to get you on the right wave, tune in to get knowledge. You can use meditation, vision states, or you can use drugs to do it. DMT being the main one. But meditating and doing the correct way, the tongue up in the mouth and vibrating the nasal bone. The nasal bone is said to go back in and vibrate into the pineal, up through the roof of the mouth and vibrate into the pineal. So that's, and then it encourages the release of dimethyltryptamine or hallucinogenic chemicals and helps them facilitate the meditation process. There we go. Now on to the electric universe. A bloke called Wallace Thornhill is an Australian. What a champion this bloke is. And he's got another mate who does it with him. He's a mathematician from Brisbane or Sydney, like another Australian guy. And these guys get ridiculed by NASA to say, and these guys are bloody smart. Like when you listen to what I just said, like you think, how can that work? How can radio waves be anything? Well, everyone watches TV every night. Where do you think your picture comes from? Radio wave gets sent from here, gets sent through the air, goes to this little box, and bang, it's a picture. So if you don't think that electricity can carry information to travel vast distances, you know, you're wrong, because it can. So there's nothing, and yeah, we'll get into more of that, you know, it's all about, and there he is, Wallace, and he wrote The Electric Universe. So you want to check that out, that's a pretty cool thing. As I'm sort of, the reason I'm saying all this stuff about different things is because you need to sort of understand a few different principles of a few different things. They might sound like whack jobs, but you go out there and smoke a bit of DMT, and then you experiment with it over the. I've had a lot of experience with this compound. Small, I've had from 0 to 65, you know, in one hit, bang, gone. Like, so, as I said, what I'm trying to teach you on this small journey, as in the journey of the infant mind, is I had to learn all this stuff. I didn't get taught it. I'd sort of come across it myself, and then, you know, it was a very personal journey, and it took a long time to sort of work all this out. There's a lot of information out there, and you see a lot of stuff, and you're trying to understand it. No matter how much you think you can understand it, I'm the same, or whatever. Until you've sort of done this, experienced a lot, sort of doesn't make much sense to you, and it sort of baffles you. And I'm sort of getting a little bit confusing too, I'm sorry. As I said, yeah, this episode was about the pineal gland. So we had the pineal gland, where it's found, where it is in the brain. Heaps of different societies, religions, past ancients, all know about it, all knew about it, all knew it was a connection to the other world, as they say, or divine. It was how everyone predicted or perceived the soul entering and leaving the body. Who knows if it's true, because none of those people ever come back to tell anybody. And if you had a near-death experience where you didn't die, so, I mean, you know what I mean? You might have died medically, but you didn't die because you're still back here. So, it still hasn't been conquered. You know, there's no evidence of shit, really. I mean, they've turned machines off and kept people's brains alive with DMT and all this sort of stuff. That was an interesting experiment in Germany. They did that, using DMT to keep the brain from dying or from oxygen starvation. You know, it was depleting, come out of vego, so to speak, or mentally incapacitated. Well, they were giving people DMT to see if it worked, and it worked. They prolonged operations by like 20 or 30 minutes, where they usually, you know, they only go for fucking 5 or 9 or whatever it is the brain bloody starts to go stupid at. I can't remember. Yeah, but you can check that out too. It's on the internet. It's pretty cool. I'll explain in the next video where to get all this sort of cool information. So the next video will do the information and where you can look at some cool things on the internet, like good stuff, not people like me, like, but better information that I'm trying to tell you, or just a bigger vault. All right, and where I sort of found a few things just to give you a bit of a point in the right direction. Or, you know, watching the spirit molecule and smoking DMT is not the fucking same. Like, start with on the spirit molecule, they used IV DMT. 2, IV DMT is not as strong as smoke DMT, and it's not after the experience. It's longer and more prolonged, but it's nowhere near as wild. Or, you know, you're not going to go anywhere near as deep unless you take a hell of a lot of it, and it's not going to hit you nowhere near as hard. So, yeah, and that's just what I'm read. I've never IV DMT, and I never would. But I was just saying, for the information, that's from Strassman himself. So, and he was the one who conducted the medical research. So, yeah, the biggest dose those guys on there ever had was 0.6 milligrams per kilo. So, if you weigh 60 kilograms, for instance, that means your dose, your huge dose, is 24 milligrams. Sorry, yeah, sorry, 66 is a 36. Well, it's 36 milligrams. Sorry. Yes, so they did it in between 1 and 5. I'll just give you information here on the spirit molecule. They did dosage ranges from 1 to 6. There was Niles, the Indian lady, and another bloke that did the Indian bloke, I should say, not lady, that did high dosages, and those high dosages were 0.6 milligrams per kilogram. So I weigh 60 kilograms, so for me, that's the highest dose that anyone ever had was 36 milligrams smoked, and I've had way more than that. And I'm not talking like 3 breaths and all this sort of gibberish. We'll talk about all that sort of stuff in a later date. But yeah, the highest dose. Then, so what they decided in the spirit molecule was that most people were happy with the level 4 dose. So it went 1 milligram per kilo, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 was the most these people had. They really didn't like it, and they thought that 0.4 milligrams per kilo, 0.04, whatever it is, was 0.4, sorry, was enough. 0.04. There you go. 0.04 milligrams, yeah, per kilo was enough. So 6 was way too much. 4 was where everybody thought the journey was great, manageable, and they could learn something for it without being scared fucking shitless. They don't tell you that on Spirit Molecule. If you actually go in and have a look at a later date and go and have a look at some of the after clips where they talk about the high dose experiences, yeah, you'll see. But yeah. Anyway, so the next slide is I'm purposely doing this for harm reduction, and I'm sick of saying bullshit all over the internet. I don't know everything. I don't pretend to know everything. But what I do is have a reasonable look at things from a normal person's point of view with the brain. I'm not stupid. I've done a lot of things in my time. I'm fairly well educated. I'm not trying to pull my own chain. I'm just saying I'm not a dickhead. Might look like one, but when it comes to this sort of stuff, I pretend to think I do actually know what I'm talking about. Why? Because I've experienced this stuff a lot in my life. Has it helped me? Yes, it has. Do I condone it? No, I don't. I wouldn't do it now. But yeah, DMT is not an easy thing to get or source or have. This is all done for harm reduction because they don't want anyone to get hurt. They don't want anyone to do any stupid shit. Seeing people, people say you can't get hurt on DMT, and I was explaining in another video. No, you sort of can't get hurt on DMT, but there are people that have been hurt on DMT just from medical conditions and interactions with drugs and different things like that. Like if you're on another information, if you're on those antidepressant drugs, don't smoke DMT. You know, and 3/4 of the population's on antidepressant drugs. Now, they don't react well with it because it's serotonin agonist drug, which is DMT, because it mimics serotonin, and all those drugs block serotonin and do all sorts of stupid shit. You know, SSRI, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. So you know you shouldn't be doing this shit. You know, and so a lot of people aren't actually getting what they know. You get all these people running around on meth that have got they're on those sort of chemicals and stuff too. So my point is, yeah, you really need to know what you're doing. You need to know a little bit about your brain. Yeah, and I'm trying to take you on a slight journey to explain all that sort of stuff to you to reduce harm for people, and so people can, if they do choose to have this experience, they one have a background in it. They may understand what they see, you know, not what they see, but the experience itself a little more than just freaking the fucking shit out of you, because you might have a little bit more understanding about it with frequency and resonance and meditation and a little bit of background behind this stuff. And yeah, so we'll see how we go. I enjoy making these videos. Sorry if I rambled on a little bit in this one, but do listen to what I have to say. It is important, a lot of it, and I wouldn't say it if I didn't believe that it was true. I've done a lot of research on a lot of things. I don't just jump on here as keyboard warrior number one. I've had folders piled up higher than me. You know, I've been researching this stuff for a lot. I'm 40 years old now. I've been into this sort of stuff since I was 13. I've only been highly researching DMT. I did that for a period of about 7 years. Now I've just thought I'd share my information with people. You know, I don't do these things anymore and sort of can't. I'm getting too old for this sort of stuff. I just thought the best way to do it is to try and help people. So here we are. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, it's a pretty cool pic. We'll get to talk about CGI and all sorts of stuff later, and tessellations and how all sorts of weird stuff. So thank you. This is DMT, Journey of the Infant Mind. I'm AM Reaper. Thank you very, very much for watching. As I said, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Next video is going to be on where to find all this information that I just talked about. I'll show you a few different websites and things to go to quickly, and then we'll have a quick chat about deja vu, actually, and sleep paralysis. I don't know if any of you ever had any sleep paralysis before, but I actually have, and I'll tell you all about it next time. Okay? It was a long time ago when I was 14 or 15 years old. Yeah, but it's pretty gnarly stuff. Alright then, guys. AM Reaper here. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.